Hi, we're here from Hanscom Federal Credit Union. We are not your typical financial institution. We are unique and different. We're here to help you become financially self-sufficient and successful, whether you are well established, need guidance, or just starting out. In 1953, 8 volunteers got together and had a vision of how they could lend a helping hand to their friends and coworkers. They formed what today is called Hanscom Federal Credit Union. From our humble beginnings, a table under the stairwell in the administration building on Hanscom Air Force Base, to 19 branches with $1.9 billion in assets serving Greater Boston and Virginia. We are the 5th largest credit union in Massachusetts. Our guiding principle remains steadfast: to be the trusted advisor you can turn to for unbiased financial guidance. Today's table talk we'll call Borrowing for Knowledge and Investing in Your Future. I'm Colleen, branch manager of the Devons and Littleton, and with me is Lauren, branch manager of our Bedford office, and Melody, branch manager of our Billerica office. We're all financial wellness coaches. We'll be talking about our experiences today regarding financial aid, some scholarship opportunities, as well as the legal and medical aspects of preparing for college, as well as some money-saving strategies as you prepare for college. Lauren, you recently had 2 children graduate. Can you tell us about your experience?
I did, and as we all know, being moms, 2 different children, 2 different experiences. Yeah. So my children both had to apply for FAFSA, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. This is a program run by the Department of Education, and it has a application process for applying for federal aid. You go onto their website, you fill out the application, they bring it down based on your family size and income. So you will have to give them your tax returns. That gives the colleges the idea of how much aid to provide for the student and how much the family can afford. Another avenue used by a lot of private institutions, colleges, and universities is CSC. And that stands for College Scholarship Service. This is, again, not a free application, but it has a bigger avenue for aid, as it looks at more than just your family size and your income. It also looks at, do you have investments? Do you own real estate? Your 401k contributions. This gives the universities a better idea of what grants, merit, aid to send out to the students when they've been accepted to their colleges. Okay, so children can also go online and apply for private student loans. Those tend to have a higher interest rate than the federal loans, and they usually will need a co-borrower because students tend to not have an income or a valid credit score. So parents, guardians may have to co-sign with those students.
Mm-hmm. And a guidance counselor can help with some of this.
Oh yes, a guidance counselor is a great resource to use for the students because they've been through it with multiples and know exactly how to handle that. They'll also be a great avenue for scholarship information.
Great. Oh, absolutely.
Most high schools use a program called Naviance. If they don't use that one, they use a similar program which lists multiple scholarships nationwide and locally. Some require an essay, some do not. You can even whittle it down as far as your line of education, what field you think you might be going into, and get scholarships that way. Another way for kids to look is in their local areas. Do businesses in their area have a scholarship program that they're using to help with the local high schools? As Hanscom does. Hanscom has a scholarship that we give out to 5 seniors every year. It has an essay part of it, and it's a great way to reach out to your neighborhood.
Oh, absolutely. Equally as important is the legal and medical aspect. Melody, would you like to share?
Yes, I do. I think sometimes when the kids go off to college, they are so enthralled in doing the FAFSA that we might sometimes forget about some legal aspects that we need to put into place when your student becomes 18. Technically, around 6 months or a year to 6 months, some of these documentation you should have discussed with an attorney with your student. I want to go over like 4 of them. One of them is the medical healthcare proxy. Sometimes it's called the medical power of attorney. Another document is the financial power of attorney. A third document I want to talk about is a HIPAA authorization, which you might know when you go to the medical doctors yourself, you sometimes yearly have to sign a HIPAA document. And that stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. The last piece of waiver that you want to talk to with an attorney is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. About the medical healthcare proxy, as we all know, when a child turns 18, we as parents, right, we don't have much say over their medical, situations that could happen. Prior to a student going off, you might want to get this document in place so that if something happens on campus, you're able to speak on behalf of the student if they become incapacitated to talk about medical needs. You know more about your child than anybody does, right? So it gives us the power as parents, guardians, to be able to move forward and discuss what is in the best interest of our child.
If your child goes to school out of state, is there a different state per state document that they should be looking for?
Yes, on the HIPAA. The HIPAA authorization form, there is. Every state has their own HIPAA form. So whatever college state your child is going to, that form will be designed for that particular state. Very good question. Thank you for that. The next document, the financial power of attorney. This document allows the guardian, the parents, to be able to, if something happens to your child, still continue to talk to the banks, pay their bills, their credit cards. If they have a lease, negotiate that piece of it. It gets more into the financial aspect of it. So we definitely want to make sure that we're keeping on top of any financial situations that your son or daughter might be going into. And as we just addressed about the HIPAA, we want to make sure that is something that your son and daughter needs to have on file by whatever state they're going to. And that document in itself allows the parent to make appointments, talk to doctors if something's happening on campus. That opens the door for the discussion, for more dialogue. Otherwise, you will not be able to get any information from anybody. The last piece of a waiver that most people don't understand is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. We talk so much about getting into FAFSA and doing everything. They go off to college. We don't get to see the grades now. What happens, right? So are they doing well? Are they not doing well? Technically, after 18, we don't need to see what's going on with their grades. This waiver, once the student signs it, you're able to get a copy of those grades, be able to be more informed as to what's happening with them in the college.
Yes, I didn't know that was even a thing.
Well, people usually don't until they try to get the grades, right? And then they don't get them and they wonder why. All these documents can be done with an attorney, and it's important that they get them notarized and you keep those documents in a safe place. Also make several copies. Make a copy for the school, the college, the nurses' aides or whatever, at that college. Have one on hand for their primary doctor. Just make sure all those bases are covered before they take off.
Should you also make sure that it's on file with their financial institution?
Absolutely.
Maybe give it to the RA too.
Yep, absolutely, yep. I think it's very important because we know when people come into us, we have to look for the documents. We can't talk. 18 is that number that it just stops everything. Lastly, I think it's important medical, right? we're sending them off. What's happening, right? We want to make sure prior to them going off to college, they get their, physical. They get all up to date in immunizations. Most colleges are going to want that. They're going to want to see a record of that. We want to make sure that if there's any prescriptions that they take on, a daily, weekly, monthly basis, that they know where the pharmacies are on campus, that they are refilled, that they have a list of any allergies that they may have. All of these things need to be like packed up, maybe in a first aid kit, make sure they know where they're going. You want to teach them like life skills. You want to be able to have them know, like some campuses have, the blue light emergency. And you just have to know, when you're sending them off, this is the first time they're on their own, just prepare them.
Right. They should also look to make sure if their college or university has a bus program that will go into the local towns, to the grocery stores or the pharmacies, so they have an avenue to get their prescriptions and whatnot refilled.
Absolutely. They have to know their insurance card, right? I mean, I still kept my kids' insurance card. You have to kind of give that to them so they know. And another thing that's important is making sure that maybe their roommate, maybe the RA on the form, whoever is close to them has an emergency contact. If something happens, who are they going to call? Who's the second person they're going to call? And it's not a bad idea for them to know their blood type, and have a list of everything that they need. You forget about this, but it's something that they need to have. If they can't get in touch with you, who's the next person they can get in touch with? So now they're prepared, they're off, we have that. What now? We have to talk about savings and budgeting, right? So how do we prepare them to save and budget when they get that job on campus and they go forward with
absolutely.
that, right?
We have to say. We can talk to them about saving for their short-term needs as well as their long-term needs and aspirations. If they are working on campus, we can, help them allocate a certain percentage to their long-term savings, and then have a few dollars in their pocket for the weekend savings, their expenditures that way. Whatever it is, maybe they have a goal of saving for a car or spring break. We can help set up a budget with them in addition to their parents. Maybe the parents are funding their social life as well. So, that's also another consideration. That
teaching them debit cards, right? Like, because what happens
ways
with that?
to avoid
Right.
the ATM fees. Maybe help them find the ATMs that are free.
Exactly.
So all those little tricks of the trade.
Yeah, 'cause they don't
we can
know,
sit with the student as well as their parents as financial wellness coaches and help them navigate through that process.
It's great education. They don't teach that prior to going off. Do you find
Exactly.
that?
Exactly.
They don't teach that.
And it's something they all need to know.
Yeah.
At Hanscom Federal Credit Union, we realize that your life is full of the everyday certainties. But once in a while you're going to have those hiccups, that are going to throw a curveball your way.
Yeah.
And it's those curveballs that challenge you. They transform you, and we're here to help. We realize that's going to happen, and we're here to hold your hand and help you through those hiccups and those bumps.
Sure are.
So wherever life takes you, Hanscom Federal Credit Union is here to stand by your side, just as it has since 1953. And I think that's all for today. So on behalf of Melody, Lauren, and myself, we'd like to thank you for joining us. And if you have any additional questions or would like some information, our contact information will be at the bottom of the screen. Thank you.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Colleen. Thank you, Lauren.